Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we come to you using the latest in advanced space-age technology with a special pre-recorded live episode that we are recording live to be played recorded in the future, which is live for you when you're watching it, but is in tomorrow for us now, and will be yesterday by the time we upload it on audio. Get ready, get set, and go. The future.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, Ballistically Speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
So I've discovered some new things, being in my senior years.
Yeah, what's that?
Involuntary muscle twitches. It's like, okay, I've had enough of Chris. Just go.
That was probably the smoothest intro we've ever done, and we still screwed it up.
Do you want to do it again?
No, not really. Not particularly.
I think it's great.
It's better this way.
Holy Christ.
We have the technology. The future is now. It doesn't mean we know how to use it.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, folks. Well, I guess special episode. Do we call it that?
Let's call it a special
catch-up episode, summer holiday episode. Like, where in the hell have we been?
I haven't seen us for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I know. Good God.
Yeah.
Yep. You've been busy. I've been busy.
I still am busy. That's why we're pre-recording this one.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Well, should we get into the meat and then get into the BS?
Yeah, let's do it
afterwards. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
then?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
This episode and all of the rest of them are brought to you by the kind people at Apex Optics. Designed in Canada, built in Japan, Apex Optics are made with premium ED glass, resulting in the best optical system money can buy. The rival 4-32 competition rifle scope features super positive clicks. Clips? Clicks?
Clips.
Is it a mag or a clip?
It's a turret.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Twitch.
Yeah. Click the intro button.
Yeah. Super positive clicks on a turret, 2-turn indicator, a zero stop, and one of the most thoroughly thought out reticles in the industry. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Find them at apexoptics.co.
So I'm going to purposefully screw this one up just so that I don't make you feel bad.
Oh,
but from stock,
big heart.
Oh yeah, I already screwed it up. I started reading the ad where I said who it was for, and that wasn't even on purpose. This show is also brought to you by Ribstone Gunsmithing. From stock refinishing and modifications to general repairs and rust bluing on rifles, shotguns, and pistols, contact Oscar Long at ribstonegunsmithing.ca in Sarre, Alberta. Ribstone Gunsmithing. Craftsmanship done right. I didn't screw the rest of it up. I'm sorry.
You did.
I tried my best. I'm just too damn good.
It's just not in you, is it?
Yeah, it's just not in me. Unless I'm not trying to screw it up, in which case it's inevitable.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. All right, so the rest of our amazing sponsors are EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta, building Canada's finest precision firearms commission. Oh, Jesus. It's like I've never heard of these people before.
We're rusty, man. It's been half a month.
I know. Holy Lord, my mind's still out in the excavator. Commission a build today with EM Precision Rifles at emprifles.ca. I'm going to have to say each one of these slower. Just
what's funny?
What's that?
As you're saying that, I get a notification on my phone that EM Precision Rifles just tagged us in a reel on Instagram.
The reel is probably, oh no, I guess they're not seeing this, are they?
Well, everybody who's watching this right now, what's really going to fuck with your head is you're going to instantly go to Instagram, but it's going to be 24 hours later. That's and right. It won't be on their reel anymore. And you're going to be like, that's where did it go?
I got to check that out.
Oh, we're also brought to you by Bolt Action Coffee, bringing specialty coffee to the precision shooting world. Order coffee and merchandise at boltactioncoffee.com.
All right, and call sign 66. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Book a course with them now at callsign66.ca.
And Odell Engineering. Pick up a Canuck shotgun or a Brigera rifle from your local distributor and tell them Phil sent you. Look them up at odellengineeringltd.com.
And March Scopes Canada, the Dion Optical Design line of rifle scopes, has a scope for all your shooting and hunting needs. Find Doug and Niza at marchscopes.ca.
I'm looking for my things for the next one.
Your things for the next one.
Yeah. Here, just give me a sec here.
While Chris is looking for things for the next one.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
What is in here?
Oh,
That's not it at all.
where's mine? What's this? That's
I
not
don't know
it.
what mine is. This is great radio. I'm glad this is pre-recorded.
Are you looking for that?
I was looking for that. Yes. Good thing you've got it. Hey, so we'd also like to announce that we've struck up a partnership with Trigger Tech Canada. I'm sure you could tell that, those of you who are watching us on video. You just saw it on Kurt's screen.
Yes.
Look for future announcements and offers. As it stands right now, we have each picked up a couple of Trigger Techs courtesy of the fine folks at Trigger Tech, so that we can not be frustrated with the trigger pull on most stock rifles when we're doing reviews and things like that.
It's funny. I hope this doesn't sound like a slag in any manner, but I was short one trigger, so I was using an old Timney in one of my Remington rifles, and man, it's just not the same.
Oh, really?
It used to be the Timney was the trigger. If you're going to replace your stock trigger, you went Timney.
Mhm.
And I mean, unless you're
Like a
wanted
Geisley
to
person or something.
dole out for a jewel or some other real fancy thing like that. But
Yeah.
and now using I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 Trigger Techs or something, I think now, and it's just hard to go back to anything else.
Well, I'll tell you this: the only custom triggers I've ever had have been Hyperfire and Trigger Tech.
Oh, is that right?
And I liked the Hyperfire. I really did like the Hyperfire.
Right.
But Trigger Tech's just on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hyperfire that I had, it wasn't a one-piece trigger either, and that's, I think, something that's pretty nifty. Like, does Trigger Tech even make any that aren't, what do you call them? Encased, what's the word I'm looking for? Brain drain. Whereas one piece in a fucking housing.
Oh, captured
trigger. Yeah,
sure. I don't know.
I don't think they make any that aren't, eh?
I don't honestly know.
Hey,
that's the thing. I'm such a utilitarian in many ways that if it just works, you just
use it.
Goddamn thing. Yeah.
Yeah, just use it.
Beat it, use it, love it.
Trigger Tech. Cherish it. Trigger Tech. By the way, we're doing this completely bass-ackwards, but I really want to play the video anyways because I'm trying to step up the quality of this show here.
Well, should we ask for feedback from the folks? Should we play both?
Oh, and see who likes whichever one best, and that's the one we'll play from now on.
Right.
So we have to introduce them as though it's natural for the show, though. So, okay, folks, it's time for our sponsors.
Not bad, Campbell. Not bad.
It's all right. Okay.
Not bad.
You want to say it this time?
All right. And next up, our that was payback, wasn't it?
You want to know why I'm laughing so hard? Because that wasn't payback. It was legitimately just a finger twitch.
Maybe you're getting old beyond your years already.
We really need a tech guy.
Yeah, I think so. Get young Jamie in here.
Yeah,
Young Mark.
exactly. Yeah, Mark's going to be our new tech guy. So hopefully he doesn't have a twitchy finger.
That's right. Hopefully he's paying attention.
I can't believe I did that.
Oh, that is
Okay.
funny shit. Okay.
Anyway,
So
there's a
holy
lot
smokes,
that's
man.
been going on in the last 2 weeks.
No kidding.
I
No
want to
kidding.
start with you, not the cat. Not this one was
Yeah.
Cactus Cup. No, Cactus Cup is what we went to last time.
That's right. Yeah.
This
we got-
one,
Yeah, we got some footage. Did we do a show? I can't remember.
I don't think you did.
No, we didn't.
You said you were gonna, but you didn't.
No, that's this last one.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we did one after Cactus Cup either.
What is the name of the 2-day from Sapro?
Prairie Classic.
The Sapro Prairie Classic.
Prairie Classic.
So for those who don't know what it is, it's a 2-day PRS shoot from the Southern Alberta Precision Rifle League.
Yeah.
And you went and competed in that.
I did.
And I didn't because I was.
You were on
Was
the
I
East
already
Coast
on
of
the East
US.
Coast?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So why
Yeah,
wasn't I on the week before that? Oh, that's right. I was like, I left on Friday.
Right.
I was gone for 2 Fridays.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was a 10-day trip.
It's kind of a blur, honestly. Like, well, you know me. It's work is first and foremost on my mind. It seems like all the time, and then show, and then shooting, and holy Christ! All of a sudden, we're 2 weeks later, and
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
So
Anyway.
so me knowing me and who I am and how I'll just talk like a moron for like
Isn't
the
that
next like 3 hours. I want to hear how the Sapro event went for you first. I want you to go first.
Well, since we're both at the Cactus Cup,
Mhm.
we'll discuss the Prairie Classic. It you know, it was a bit of a piss off for me. It was great seeing everybody again, the bunch of new shooters again too. Great course of fire. Two different areas of the same area, if that makes any sense. Two different courses, I guess. In the
same general
footprint.
geographic area.
That's right.
Okay.
And man, it was there was a lot of challenging stuff. And from the Cactus Cup, I used my 6.5 Rooster, and I was limited to 8 or 9 rounds in a mag, depending on which mag I used because of that larger case diameter. Right?
And always seemed to forget when you were out of ammunition and we're going to have to
Not
swap
always,
mags.
not
Okay.
always, only 80% of the time.
That's why I said it seemed that way.
I can't count and concentrate on targets all the time.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to remember your dope. There's a lot to remember.
There's a lot to remember, but
You can barely remember your pants, so
thank you for that reinforcement, but
you're welcome.
it's kind of true.
Yeah, 80% of the time. It's the 80-20 rule.
Yes. I went into the Prairie Classic with a different rifle, my 6.5 by 47. It's also a chassis rifle as opposed to the 6.5 Rooster being in that gray bow stock. So it offered a few more accessory options, I guess. A little better stability, less recoil. And I can fit 10 rounds in a mag, and I didn't have to do a mag change every stage.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? This is going to make a big difference. At the Cactus Cup, I wound up pretty much smack dab in the middle of the pack out of 81 shooters.
Yeah, like almost exactly.
Almost exactly. I think I ended up 44th or something like that.
Yeah.
Bottom half. So
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I've got things sorted out. I learned some things. Being the first official PRS match that I've ever shot.
Mhm.
I've done plenty of messing around with buddies and stuff like that off obstacles and whatever.
And you've competed ELR and that
ELR,
sort of stuff.
yeah. It's a bit of a different game. Still under time constraint in that, but
Yeah. You
no
still got to
matter.
pull a trigger and run a bolt.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had high hopes, and I found myself having been a highly competitive fastball player in the past. I used to have that edge, like get the fuck out of my way, or I'm gonna eat your face for this win, right?
For fastball. Yeah.
Oh, don't you knock it! Don't. Ooh, you
I'm
be
towing the
careful.
line. I'm
You,
towing the
you
line.
be careful. Anyway,
Yeah.
I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. It's not that I don't care.
Mhm.
It's just that I'm going to now take things easier. I'm confident enough in my shooting,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow and do what I can, and not worry about the misses and the f ups and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And as a result, I found myself down worse than middle of the pack this time.
But you seem to be doing pretty good when I checked in with you after day one.
You know, you know what? I think most of it was mental errors, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And it's been several years since I was a competitive fastball player,
Mhm.
a pitcher. When your mind is right into it and you're kind of strategizing and uh, thinking ahead and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing how you sort of lose that edge.
Mm.
Because it was literally mental mistakes that killed a lot of my points, I guess.
Mhm.
Like take one stage for instance. There was they called it the troop line, I think, or no, it was the no dial stage. So
Okay.
targets out to damn near 1,000 yards. There were 5 targets.
And you had to hold over?
Hold over. And I mean, I've done this lots in the past. We used to practice this kind of stuff. And again, it's probably been 3-4 years since I actually practiced it.
Yeah.
But holdovers, nothing for me. That's what I'm thinking, right? Going into this damn stage. And so
It was something.
it sure was something. And so lit off the first round at the first target and miss. Well, my win calls off. That's obvious. Okay. So step to the next target and let another round go and miss again. Well, what in the fuck is going on? So a little bit flustered now, right? So go to the third target and I think I hit. No, I missed right through to target number 5.
Oh.
So
So you hit the furthest one.
Yes. Yes. Except for
Problem is the goddamn targets were too close.
that's right. When I lit off the 5th round, so what you do, you go target 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mag change, mandatory mag change, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right? So I hit, or I got to the 4th target, what I identified as the 4th target. And again, mental mistakes, not keeping track of my rounds. And Mikey goes, mag change.
Oh.
So I shot at the 2nd target twice. So from there out, my dope was
You're
way
fuggered.
off.
Yeah.
Like, right. Just fucked. Like I was hitting 300 meters before the target, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, you know
anyway.
what though? This is the thing. It competition, and I don't give it like, okay, I've only ever competed in one shooting competition ever,
Right.
but I've competed in more than enough other
Right.
types of, usually fighting of some fashion or another. But I played basketball, and all that. I've done enough competition to know and to be able to sense in the one shooting competition that I've done that it's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
You've got the technical skills,
Right.
that account for a percentage of your ability in competition.
Right.
But then you've just got the perishable skills that account for the rest of it, and quite frankly, account for the majority of it.
It's amazing. Yep.
And this is why, a lot of sports play preseason games.
Yeah.
This is why combat sports, you'll see athletes, they'll just go from regional tournament to regional tournament to regional tournament, and they're
Right.
competing every single weekend in little nothing tournaments,
Yep.
so that they can just keep the perishable skills
Yep.
sharp. And then they go to the Mundials in Los Angeles, and they're already ready to go.
Right.
You know,
Right.
shooting's really no different, and shooting at the range,
Yeah.
especially for guys like me who, like, I'm shooting at a range, number one, only goes out to 300 meters. Number two, is not set up for anything PRS. Like, there's not even a barricade to shoot off
right,
of.
Right.
You know, those perishable skills matter. And I think that they've probably accounted for a lot of what you're talking about at your match.
It's something that I accounted for exactly this much, 0.
Mhm.
And it
And I'm seeing the other guys from our area, and we're involved in a couple of group chats and that sort of
Right.
stuff. And
Yeah.
and they're like, "Hey, we're going out today. It's a nice day. Oh, it's raining balls today," as like it has been lately. So nobody's
Right.
going out today. But hey, it's a reasonable day today. We're going out. Well, it's kind of windy today. Cool. We can practice wind call. I'm going out today.
Right.
I mean,
And where are we?
well, I wasn't even in the country.
I know.
But I mean, we're doing at work, or we're doing our thing, and
Yeah.
we don't. I don't think you or I at all are really even interested in becoming serious competitors in shooting. I don't know if you are or not.
Yes and no, Chris.
Okay.
You know what? I realize that I don't have the time to really dedicate myself to something like this. I would love to be competitive. I would love to be that guy in the top 20.
Yeah.
At
We'd all like to be
right
that guy and get that prestige. Yeah.
Well, I don't give a shit about prestige necessarily. I've
it's just
always
me
been
then.
that guy that right. yeah, attention whore.
Yeah.
But it's just a pride thing, a self gratification type thing. Like,
it's a masturbatory exercise. Then
that's I knew you were going to go there as soon as I said that.
Figuratively, not literally.
But it's a just something that you'd like to be there.
Yeah.
But what I've forgotten over the past several years, just because my life has been about work, is the work that it takes to get into
to be
that top 20 or top third or whatever, and stay there and deserve to be there.
Yeah. Well, you look at guys like the apex shooters, like Mikey
Right.
Friesen and all that. You look at like Jeff Scobie,
Sure.
these guys have already been to what, like 5-6 competitions, and we're into the first week of July. And they're probably going to go to at least another half dozen before the fall hits. And that's just what it takes, and good for them. And and first of all, good. It's I almost make it sound like I'm being flippant, like, oh, good for those guys. They get to do a whole bunch of competitions, but like they make it that way. That's
right.
the accomplishment. They've set their lives up so that they can do that, and that takes discipline, and it takes dedication,
and it does, and sacrifice too,
and sacrifice. 100%.
Like, what are they missing? I know I don't know about Scobe's kids. I think he's got kids. But Chris Hoyen's kid, Nicholas.
Yep. Well, and even he takes Nicholas to a competition. He doesn't get to shoot that competition because he's helping his son. There's and so you see the hierarchy of priorities, and it's not nothing to make whether it's amateur competition or whether it's professional competition.
Right.
It's not nothing to dedicate to being able to accomplish that.
I had to laugh. We had a couple of ceasefires, targets went down or whatever. And
again,
like
soft soil there or something. Who's shooting the Lapua?
That's right. So my buddy Todd Wilson, we see him on here every once in a while, chime into the chat.
Yeah.
I traveled with him down there. It was great to have him out. It was his first PRS match as well, and he ended up in a different squad than I did, so I couldn't help him at all.
Okay.
And as luck would have it, he ended up with a squad with a couple of guys we know, one being Adam Glatt.
Oh yeah.
So
And Adam's the guy that's out there shooting every other day.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So one of these ceasefires, Adam and Todd came over and we were talking and Adam kind of took Todd under his wing, and it was amazing.
Adam's pretty good for that, you know.
He's a fucking great guy, man.
Yeah.
And I asked Adam, how are you making out? Because I knew he had trouble with his 6BRA this early this summer.
Oh, okay.
And it's still not shooting like he would like it to shoot,
Okay.
but he's making do. So I asked him, how's that rifle? It's okay. It's better than it was, when I made that Facebook post and I was shooting all over the place. But it's still not right. I said, okay, how are you doing? I'm hitting some. The
He took
fucking
first,
guy
didn't
but he ended up, I can't remember, third or fourth or fifth or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's a humble brag, Adam.
it is.
I believe they call that false modesty.
Yes. Yeah.
Or maybe it's real modesty. I don't know.
I think it is real modesty in his case. Like he's just that guy. I do what I do, and you know what? He's great with helping other people. That's something else I kind of wanted to talk about too. Especially what I'd seen displayed with Todd, and with you down at the 22 shoot. Down
The
at
LRSS shoot, yeah.
LRSS
Yeah.
shoot, right?
Because I wasn't properly zeroed. Went through the whole day. I didn't know
Right.
dope. I wasn't properly zeroed anything.
Right.
And at the end of the day, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, let's go on the line and let's get your rifle zeroed."
Yeah.
And he spotted for me and got it all
Yep.
sorted. And coincidentally, I shot much better the second day.
Isn't that something?
It's weird, very weird.
And it's guys like Adam that really make going to these shoots worthwhile, no matter how you do. It's just that acceptance and that, hey, I see you're having a little bit of trouble. You want some help. And so free with that kind of stuff. And those top 6, top 10 guys, every single one of them are those guys that just, this is great. It's great to be here. Great to see you here. I don't know who you are, but great to see you here.
Yeah.
And they're just those guys that we just love to shoot. And I'm glad that you're here shooting with us. It almost brings a tear to my eye.
Almost.
My glass eye.
If you had a soul, you would be crying right now.
That's weeping slightly.
Oh, weeping slightly.
But
Got you.
you're right about the soul.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So anyway, so that's that. The only other thing, so this weekend coming up is the Cypress. Is it the Showdown?
Cypress Showdown.
I think
That
it
sounds
is.
familiar.
Anyway,
Yeah.
down at Cypress Hills area, Colton Backman with, oh my God, what is his company's name? He makes the precision steel targets. Shit, I'm an asshole. Anyway,
I doubt that's the name.
Yeah, shit, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Prairie Precision Steel.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I
Right?
know that. I've heard that
Okay.
name before.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. A little.
I
late
could
to
have helped you with that if I had
Yeah, I
known that's
know.
what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
well, who's to tell, right? I'm
Yeah.
speaking a different language here sometimes.
Hindsight is 2020.
Anyway, so that there's that match coming up this weekend, and I was scheduled to go. However, my old ass, 30 pounds heavier than what I should be, hawking around 40 pounds of gear over 3 kilometers 2 days in a row. Last match out at Saprel.
Yeah, you broke a hip.
I broke a hip, and I'm sitting here.
I
whining
love
at
how
home.
that hurts you so much because like in your mind you're still 27.
It's like every time I wake up in the morning with whatever ache and or pain, I have. I'm like, fuck, I can do this. Yeah, let's go. Get out of bed, crack.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep in.
Nancy.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna watch. The Terminal List today. Just lay on the couch.
That's right.
You watched that, by the way?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
I've only watched the first 3 episodes so far.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
I haven't got any further than that. So I read the Terminal List book, and I thought it was very good. So far, the TV series looks like it's going to be pretty good, but it's not the book.
Oh, is that right? It is fully Jocko endorsed, though.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine that for sure. But as often happens, they can only fit so much into 8 episodes, so 8 hours long.
Right.
So there's even in the first 3 episodes, there's a number of things that they've changed, and you can tell that they've changed it just because they want to keep the main storyline going. They don't want to make it too complex. Okay. So they've changed a couple of things, especially in relation to how his family dies, and I think they're probably going to change exactly how that worked and how his family was killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I've always been that guy who enjoyed revenge movies.
Yeah, well, every 80s movie started that way.
Well, what was that?
If your wife and kid didn't die, you're not doing anything.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
The Crow is a great example. What a great movie that was.
Loved that movie.
Yeah.
And this was a lot the same, where he got done wrong.
Yep.
And he's going to kill every motherfucker that had anything to do with it.
Yep.
I'm just glued to the screen. Go, buddy, go.
Kill him.
Yeah.
I think
do so bad if it weren't for this broken hip.
I think one of the torture scenes is different. I think it was much more gory. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I might not be thinking of the right one though, and maybe it'll be in the next episode. I don't know, but it was much more tame. Anyway, you're right. Every 80s action flick started that way. Like name a Schwarzenegger film that didn't start like that.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I'm thinking of like Commando, even okay, nobody died, but his daughter was kidnapped. He had to try and get her back. Right?
You motherfucker. Every Liam Neeson film ever.
Yeah. I have a very particular set of skills. And even up to today, how does John Wick start?
Yep.
It was too cliche to kill his family, so
that's right.
He had to kill his dog.
And it was a beagle, no less. How can you fall in love with a beagle?
Well,
yappy little bastards.
He's a broken man in a lot of ways.
Well, that's right. I can relate. Physically, at least, anyway.
I was talking mentally, but
well, probably that too.
Yeah.
It's probably not the time or the place, is it?
No, I'm not your therapist.
Damn it. Maybe these fine folks out here are.
You're not paying any of us enough.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Shit. I got to think of something different.
Or get more money. I don't know.
Maybe just fucking deal with it.
Or just fucking deal with it. How did the rest of Sapro go for you?
It was kind of 50-50.
Okay.
There was one stage. In fact, our squad's last stage of the whole weekend was the Know Your Limits rack.
Oh yeah.
You remember that one? So there's a confirmation target you got to hit, and then get onto the KYL rack and go until you miss, and then back to the confirmation. And so I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna love this one. We get up there, and there's a goddamn poly barrel on its side.
Okay.
So you're not shooting prone this time.
Oh, okay. You're resting on the polymer barrel.
On this slippery.
This is one of these blue rainwater barrels,
right?
Yeah.
And it is slippery as shit. And whatever, I'll make the best of it. And by that time, I was tired, and my back was just fucking killing me. I couldn't stand up. I had to kneel when I wasn't shooting. It was just ridiculous. And so I get up there. with some confidence. You know, it's funny when you get on the trigger, that confidence kind of comes back. Probably the same as you when you get on the mats. It's like, okay, here we go. Something lights off in you a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, there's the confirmation target, and there's the KYL rack, and you know, from the stages previous, there are a bunch of other targets out there too, right? I got this.
You shot the wrong target.
Boom, clang. And I hear nothing behind me. I'm like, impact.
It's like as indignant as you can manage.
Absolutely. And everybody's going, sorry, but
No read.
no, yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Fuck you,
I'm
no
looking
read.
through my scope again. Sorry. Boom. Impact. Totally wrong fucking target.
Was it at least the right distance?
Well, it had to be. Same dope. Yeah.
Maybe it was a bigger target. I don't
I
know.
should have got a half a point for it, I thought.
I think they should give out half points.
I think so too.
Advantage points. You see, in jiu-jitsu, you can get advantage points. You've got points, and then you got advantage points, and they're typically given for like almost getting a submission, almost getting a move, or getting a person in in a pin.
How do you reward
but not being able to finish? Well, like for example, if you lock up a triangle choke on somebody,
right,
and then they just like Hulkamania their way out of it somehow, you'll get an advantage point for almost getting the triangle choke.
Oh,
but it only matters if the main set of points are tied.
Oh, sure.
So if
that's the only time it comes into play.
Exactly. So if the match starts, I take you down, I get 2 points, right. But then you like you sweep me and then pass my guard into mount. You get 2 points for the sweep, 4 points for the mount, and 3 points for passing guard. So now it's 9-2. Okay. And then let's say for the rest of the match, I gain a couple of advantage points.
Right.
So you have no advantage points. I have 3, say, but it doesn't matter because you have 9 points. I have 2. You win.
Sure. Yeah.
But if both of us, if it's tied 2-2 at the end, and I have 3 advantage points and you have none, then I win.
Ah.
Yeah.
I got you. Interesting.
They need to implement that for shooting.
Right.
Like a dust splash, like a very obvious dust splash right underneath the target.
I don't.
Advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh God.
And mulligans. We need mulligans too. Let's revolutionize the rule set while we're at it.
No. There were some very, very neat, very neat stages. I'm just looking through. I don't know if you can see this or not. But it's a set of elk antlers on. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, what's that about? Yeah, so there's somebody kneeling on top of an oil barrel shooting, and there's a pair of elk antlers.
Elk skulls.
Is that on either side?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that for fluff or was it functional?
No, it was definitely for fluff.
Okay. So they just prettied up the
So there was that. There was ladder stage where you shoot the different rungs of the ladder. Not an actual construction ladder or anything like that. There was a what do I call it? A hanging platform or whatever. Okay. Just hung by chains, and you had to shoot the stage off of this platform that went like this the whole time. And that was kind of neat. I did well on it. And if you can imagine, here's Vanya, and I don't know if you can see this or not. Vanya on this stage
shooting off of some sort of post.
It
looks like a Wing Chun dummy.
That's exactly what. Yes, that's exactly what it looked like. And you know what? Stupid as shit, because this 4x4 post with the pegs coming out of it at different heights.
Yeah,
you could only see the targets from like 3 of the 7 pegs.
Okay,
right?
So you go to line up on one, you realize you have no target, no line of sight.
Right.
And then move to another one?
Well, the way I did it, personally, I knew that, okay, the top one is too tall for my short ass.
Okay.
So the second one, I'm sure. Third one, I'm sure I could see. And the fourth one, maybe. And turns out that I shot looking through grass. But I mean, it's no big deal anyways, because your bullet's going like this.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So as long as you can kind of make out your target, but that whole post would go like this.
Oh,
And
it looked
for
like it
some,
was sitting in a Christmas tree stand.
yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
just a pocket,
Yeah.
really. So for some stupid reason, I had this figured out. I just pulled back on the goddamn thing until it was solid,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I shot the stage. And I think I shot eight out of 10
Genius.
on it.
Yeah.
Stupid things like that. But yet something like that know your limits rack, despite the slippery barrel, I didn't do so well on, or the no dial stage, which I should have fucking killed. I didn't. So again, back to the mental stuff, I think, and not being prepared. But yeah, I don't know.
You had a
It
good
was
time,
it was
though?
all good. The best thing that I took home with me from both of those matches
Mhm.
was that I learned a lot in both of them,
Mm.
and a lot that I can take forward into the next one.
Next match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then it was worth it.
I think so. It was great. It was fantastic. Like, what a bunch of wonderful guys out there and gals shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie did really well. She got top lady, Carrie
yeah.
Monsoor.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
You bet.
She's been she's apparently been chasing that for a while.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah.
Just all smiles on that girl's face after that.
Yeah, good for her.
She shot well. Yeah,
Good.
You betcha. So now you've been traveling around a fair bit.
I went to a couple of different states.
Good God, man. I couldn't like you told me your basic outline.
Yeah.
What the hell your travel?
Oh, I told you maybe like 20% of what we did.
Well, I'm thinking that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I get these messages, obscure messages in the middle of the night. Hey, Kurt, are you still up? This is where I am. You wouldn't believe what this stripper did. No.
Yeah. She sat where?
Yeah, right.
So we saw pretty much every state in New England, like in the original colonies.
Okay.
Almost. So
Nobody knows what the original colonies is
well,
anymore.
we were in Maine.
Yeah.
We were in New Hampshire. We were in New York. We were in New Jersey. We were in Connecticut. We were in Maryland. We were in DC.
Right.
We were in Virginia. So that's 8 states.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if we were in any. Did I say New Hampshire?
Yes.
And Pennsylvania.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire. Yeah, we saw a bunch of cars parked in the garage. And Massachusetts. We were in
Right by
Massachusetts.
Boston.
Yeah. Are you or are you not a knock?
A what?
A knock. Anyway,
Knock, knock. Who's there?
NARC, narc.
I know.
When my brother found out that I was in Massachusetts, he texted that to me, but he spelled it the way that he phonetically figured that it would be said.
Right.
It took me like 5 minutes to understand. Like, what the fuck are you even trying to text me? It was like AHYU or AHYUNAHT. There's like a knock, NAK. Anyway, so yeah, we saw a bunch of states. So this was a business trip. Me, my wife Joanne, as business owners, as martial arts academy owners, and a group of other martial arts academy owners went on a tour, basically all over New England, touring other people's academies. And we saw like some iconic academies that, you know, the lay person might recognize who owns it. You know, like we were at the headquarters academy in New York of Henzo Gracie's.
Okay.
And like Henzo Gracie is the head of the team that we're a part of, you know, so that was really cool. You know, you go to the Mecca of our jujitsu. So that was really cool.
Right.
We saw like a bunch of other Gracie's academies, you know, Hollis Gracie's Academy, Igor Gracie's Academy. You know, so that was really cool. We saw some traditional martial arts academies. Like this super fantastic gentleman in his late 60s by the name of Buzz Durkin. Like that's a fucking power name and a half. He opened his karate school in New Hampshire in 1974.
Wow.
And he's been running his academy since and still teaches a class every day. He's in his late 70s.
Wow.
The guy's a Vietnam vet.
Right.
Like he's just like super interesting guy. Like spent like an hour and a half with us just answering whatever questions
Is that right?
we wanted to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's written like several books on martial arts academy ownership. Like he's just like he's one of the who's who in the martial arts industry.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So that was really cool. And, saw a couple of other academies. Saw like Lloyd Irvin's academy. For those who are familiar with the UFC, Lloyd Irvin is a well-known and somewhat controversial name in some circles. So we got to see his academy and that was really cool. And we toured the Origin factory.
Yeah, that's cool.
In Maine. So just a sec. Just like one second here.
You got some pictures uploaded or something, or
No, I don't. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't say his name, because I can, for whatever reason, I can never remember if it's Robertson or Robinson, and I think it's Robertson, Pete Robertson.
oh,
He started the Origin brand. And why can I not ever remember that? I've reminded myself like 15 times. Now I'm saying it online like a friggin' idiot.
I'm gonna say Robertson.
Yeah, I think it's
It's just what I feel.
I feel you're right. And we're just going to go with it. And if it's not Robertson, I'm going to look like an idiot. And I'm just
Well, I said it
saying,
first, so I mean, you can blame me.
It's Roberts.
Oh,
what a fucking tool I am.
That's a bit of
Yeah.
a
So
letdown.
it's an amazing story though, for those who don't know. So we're going to be putting a video out for when we toured the Origin factory, but like the basic, the beginning and end of the story really is Pete Roberts, guy grows up small town Maine, starts training jiu-jitsu, loves America. Like he's genuinely, you can call him a true American patriot.
Right.
And decides that like all the outsourcing that America has done, like Maine used to be a pretty major hub for textile manufacturing, apparently.
Oh, okay.
It's not anymore. Like it's all like it's that same story that you've heard over and over again. Like you hear about like Detroit and Flint, Michigan, and all the like the manufacturing just went away in America.
Yep.
And he was like, well, this is fucking bullshit. So he started trying to bring it back, and he started with like jiu-jitsu gis because he loved jiu-jitsu, and eventually got the attention of Jocko Willink. If you don't know who Jocko Willink is, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Suck it. What?
Suck it.
Suck it. Jackass. So eventually, Jocko comes on board with Origin, and they inject a whole bunch of money and take a big risk on it. And they literally like buy machines that had been exported to China back into the United States.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they literally brought the machines back into the US and started manufacturing clothing here again. So they make jiu-jitsu gis, they make other exercise like shorts, rash guards, t-shirts. They make jeans. I'm wearing a pair of Origin Deltas right now that I picked up while we were there. They make
you couldn't find a 36, 34 gene there, hey?
I got 34, 36 for me.
Wait,
that was the other thing I liked about it. You get most brands now, they're made overseas. They're not made in North American sizes. I can never find a 36-inch inseam.
Oh, is that right?
They had them there. There was no issue. They had multiples. I got 3 pairs of jeans.
No kidding.
Just from their little outlet store that they have next to the factory. Yeah, it was great. So anyway, they make boots, safety boots, fashion boots, like all made in the US from they buy. So like the clothing, for example,
right.
They buy American cotton, spun into thread, they loom it into the fabric and like
It was
denim
grown
and
in
tees.
North Carolina, you said?
I thought they said North Carolina. Don't
Okay.
quote me on that. And they might
Yeah.
be buying from multiple other places.
Probably, but
But
still.
but it's American cotton.
Right.
Yeah. And they loom it there. They've got like loom machines from Toyota. They brought like a guy who, like, a lot of people don't know this.
Sure.
Toyota makes textile manufacturing equipment, like
Well, we do
that sort
now.
of stuff. Yeah. So they brought a guy from the Toyota factory in Japan to Farmington, Maine, which
Wow.
is not I don't know what the population is, but it ain't a big town. And like he set up the looms for them, taught them how to use them, and trained the staff. And
Wow.
like
nice.
it's just like, you want to talk about, like, we think that, like, when we were young,
Mhm.
when you were still old, but I was young, people talked about this thing. They called it the American dream,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
they made movies about it. There were stories about it. It was
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
And then the American dream just kind of like, people just start talking about it in like mid 90s, late 90s,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
And like, you don't hear about that anymore.
Nope.
Pete Roberts has literally made the American dream come back to the United States. And I think
Right.
that's really cool. Even
Yeah.
as a Canadian, I think that's
No
fucking
kidding.
cool.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
I think that should happen here.
yeah, it's a pretty wild story in this time of outsourcing. Like for the
Yeah.
last 30 years, we've been doing it.
Yeah.
30 plus probably.
Probably, yeah.
Where textile manufacturers not offshore. Who the fuck does that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Apparently we do a little bit in Quebec still,
Oh, is that
but
right?
but apparently, like, good luck getting some.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Origin, go on their website right now. Even in Canada, you can order it right now.
No kidding.
And like everything, the rivets on their boots and on their jeans, all made in the US, 100%
That's
American.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you tour that factory, and like you can tell, like, the people are just, they enjoy doing their job. There's no
And
sweatshop shit going on there.
right. So you talked when we met earlier today about some of the wages and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
and like my comment
again,
to
don't
you
quote
is-
me exactly on the price on what they're getting paid, because they weren't
Right.
like super clear about that. But their entry level, I want to say seamstress, but they have men doing sewing there too. So
Yeah.
like sewing person,
seam technician.
seam technician. Yeah, let's call them that. Like they're making like good living wages,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and making quality product, because they are making good wages, and they genuinely seem to like their job. There's a huge banner hanging from the rafters in the sewing area, and
Hard
the
work will
banners.
set you free.
Yeah, our Buck Fry. No, yeah, it's
Inappropriate.
literally just a black banner with white letters, and it says, "We get to do this every day."
No kidding.
And like you can feel it when you walk in
Yeah.
there. It's just
Is that
this
right?
super cool place. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it was Connecticut. They said they just opened factory in Connecticut,
Okay.
and they're making hunting gear.
Wow.
So they're bringing, and it's like wool hunting gear, like
Well, I
genuine
think-
American sheep's wool.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's-
sheep's wool.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on that either.
Well, I don't know
Probably
of too
sheep's-
many American llamas.
Well, we got llamas here now. It could be
Okay.
llama.
Could be, I suppose.
It's wool anyway.
Right.
But man, like, just and good quality stuff. Like, these jeans are super comfortable. The shoes were amazing, American leather. You
Is
know,
that right? So, my comment to you when you were telling me about this earlier was how the hell do they make a go of it with all the competition, all the offshore competition and everything for much, much less?
they sell trucks full.
So, and that's what I'm getting at is, I think people would really, well, yeah, this is a bit way out there,
Okay.
but you take, for example, Apex Optics, right?
Yeah.
How excited are so many people in Canada, so many shooters in Canada, for a Western Canadian manufacturer of good rifle scopes.
Mhm.
And they're getting a lot of support for these scopes.
Yeah.
And I think people
And this is a
would
Canadian
embrace.
designed product. It's not even made
Well,
in Canada, but it's Canadian designed,
that's right. That's right.
And
Yeah,
that's enough.
it is. I think people would really support local stuff again.
100%.
You
I think
know,
people are ready for it.
but everybody's been so concerned about profit margin and everything else that the less they have to pay to manufacture, the more goes in the big guy's jeans.
Well, and that's just the difference in mentality, right? You can either build a business off of quality, or you can build a business off of
That's right.
quantity. And I don't think that either are necessarily out of place in a relatively open market, you know,
Right.
in a
No, that's
capitalist
right.
society.
Yeah.
You know, you could buy a pair of jeans made in mainland China for, you know, $45-50 a pair
Right.
at Warehouse One. You're paying 150 plus, you know, depending on the brand, on the model of jeans you're getting at Origin.
Right.
But you know, I have Warehouse One jeans. I have silver jeans. And you know, the Origin jeans are way more comfortable.
Is that right?
Way more comfortable. And you know, like I flip the pockets inside out. They're not cloth pockets. They're denim pockets.
Oh, you're kidding.
When was the last time you saw denim pockets in a pair
Never.
of blue jeans? Exactly.
Never.
Exactly. There's no loose threads on the inside of the jeans. I pulled them inside out, and the stitching is just as clean on the inside that you don't even see as they are on the outside of the jeans.
No kidding.
Like, they're just made better because they're made by people who are making a good wage and give a shit about what they're doing.
That's the thing right there, I think, is giving a shit about what they're doing.
And that's how they make a
high
go of it.
volume thing, right?
Yeah. And that's how they make a go of it. Because instead of buying 5 Chinese made jeans, I might only buy 3 Origin jeans.
And last the same amount of time.
Well, they'll probably last way longer, to be perfectly honest with you. But you know what?
But we've been so conditioned, this our consumerism, the way it is, especially these past 20 years, we've been so conditioned, like everything's fucking consumable.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So
anyway,
I'm bumping my microphone. I'll tell you this. I'll be getting their hunting gear when they make it, and I'll be doing it'll be my first clothing review on our YouTube page for sure.
That's awesome.
And I will 100% be supporting that. And like I said, I bought 3 pairs of jeans, a pair of shoes, and a t-shirt when I was there. And so, you know, guys, just go. It's called Origin USA.
Look them up, folks.
Yep. Originmain.com. Yeah. And also, by the way, it helps that Origin is doing Jocko's supplement line.
Yeah.
That's a multi-million-dollar winner right there.
A little bit of a booster there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, like the clothing really seems to be taking off for them, even on its own.
That's good. That's good.
Really
That's
cool.
good to hear. Like,
Really cool.
I know the American dream not necessarily has nothing to do with us. We see is trickle down effect the right way to put that?
Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Here in Canada, but I mean, what was the Canadian dream? Leave us the fuck alone.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The West was settled by all the grumpy fucks that were like, your town in Toronto is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm going west. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, okay, well, you guys are kind of coming into the West. Fuck it. I'm going to the Yukon.
That's right. Yeah,
oh, shit. We found
with a bunch of Californians.
Yeah. Now a whole bunch of Californians are here. God damn it.
Yeah. Where do we go now?
But really, though, I mean, Canada is a lot the same thing.
It is,
I mean,
very much. Yeah.
We just have never been good self-promoters about it. You know,
not at all.
This country was still, especially the West, was still founded by like hard-souled people that believed in hard work, and like it was. There's no way it was easy to settle the fucking prairies. This place is a bloody dust bowl of nothingness and broken dreams. And we turned it into one of the largest agricultural producers in the world.
We did fuck all.
Yeah,
The
we didn't do
old
shit. I
folks.
mean, we as in like
Yeah,
people who
I
live
know.
in Saskatchewan. Yeah,
The
Yeah.
old people that had some balls and not screwed backs did it.
exactly, exactly. Well, it was my, like my great grandfather who
Right.
settled in Looseland, Saskatchewan, and was a
Right.
mechanic,
Yeah.
just keeping farming equipment running in
Yep.
Looseland.
Yep.
That's the Canadian dream.
Yep. Yeah,
Maybe
it
not
is.
the same
Well,
manufacturing aspect, but
not the same manufacturing aspect, but the damn hard work and
yeah,
community support.
yeah.
For sure, like especially in Western Canada. I can't speak so much to Central Canada,
I
but
call it Eastern Canada. Fuck them.
you know what, the true Eastern Canada,
Yeah.
like the Newfies
The
and
Maritimes. Yeah,
the Maritimes, exactly.
yeah,
They have a lot of the same work ethic. The
yeah. They seem
by
to. Yeah,
Jesus, bud, I'll get her done.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just get the fuck out of my way and I'll get it done. I don't
Yeah.
think they have quite the same values in Central Canada, to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
certainly,
sorry,
certainly not in the big
Center.
cities. Yeah.
Yes, that's
But then again, they don't really in Vancouver or Calgary either.
Vancouver for sure. Yeah, for sure.
A growing segment of Calgary. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I hate
Okay.
to say that.
Here's the
This is
time.
a gun podcast, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm not talking about any more guns. I mentioned hunting gear with Origin, but
Right.
I keep hitting my mic today. I don't know why. I
a
have to
big head.
tell you guys. I do. I have to tell you guys about this. Okay.
All
I'm
right.
sure you've heard of the kerfuffle with Toronto Pearson for flying the airport.
Oh yes. Just all the
Um,
shit show delays and all that kind of stuff.
it's worse than people think. Okay.
Is that right?
So first of all, I had originally booked a flight, direct flight, Saskatoon to Toronto.
Mhm.
My wife and I were going to spend the night in Toronto at a hotel. And then the next morning we were flying Toronto to Boston. And that's where we were starting our New England tour. Less than 2 hours before our flight's supposed to take off, they canceled our flight outright. Less than 2 hours.
Just done. You're
This
cooked.
flight is
You're
no longer
goose
happening.
cooked.
Yeah.
No
and
kidding.
and the reason why was that they did not have the ground crew available at Pearson in Toronto. Nothing wrong with the plane.
Mhm.
And they had flight attendants, they had a pilot. It was because they didn't have a ground crew available in Toronto. So the only other flight available was
Mhm.
Saskatoon to Calgary, Calgary to Ottawa, Ottawa to Toronto. Over a 14 and a half hour time frame.
Yokohama. Really?
So we ended up flying overnight. I had to cancel my we weren't really flying. Most of it was sitting in the airports.
Yeah.
Overnight. I had to cancel the Toronto hotel because we weren't there for it.
Right.
And we ended up arriving in Toronto with only 2 hours to spare before our Toronto to Boston flight. We were supposed to arrive the night before.
Oh my God.
Sorry, the evening before, not even the night before.
Right.
So that was an absolute shit show.
Wow.
And we finally get into Boston and our luggage doesn't show up.
Of course.
We had 2 check bags. So we file a lost baggage claim in Boston and we go on about our trip. And the 2 reasons that this is just chaps my ass is I had my jiu-jitsu gi and belt in my check baggage
Sure.
because we were going to jiu-jitsu schools.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I've ever talked about this before. I had a pretty reasonably serious neck injury several years ago.
Oh, no.
It still bothers me.
So you have a weak spot.
Oh, I have a weak spot. Yeah. A fucking 16-year-old teenage girl almost popped my head off yesterday,
Oh, no
putting a
kidding.
choke on me. Yeah. It's actually bad enough. My neck got weak enough that my shoulder girdle got unstable enough that like 3.5 years ago, I separated my right shoulder. And about 2 years ago, I separated my left shoulder just because everything was so weak
Right.
around it. But
No kidding.
anyway, I'm on my way to like working back. I'm doing strength training with it, but like I sleep with a corrective pillow. I carry it with me
Right.
because hotel pillows suck.
Yeah.
Didn't have it. It was in my check bag.
Yeah.
So we did our entire 9-day trip. And to this day, actually, I still haven't got this 14 days today.
Yeah.
And they still haven't found our bag.
Fuck.
I know exactly where it is, and so do they, but they haven't found it. So we decide to cancel our flight home, which was Washington, Toronto, Toronto, Saskatoon, because we knew that it wasn't going to work out anyway.
Right.
We rented a car. We drove from Washington to Toronto because it's easier just getting into the airport and getting onto a flight in Toronto than catching a connection in Toronto.
No shit.
Yeah, they just like the connections are really hooped. So we drove Washington to Toronto again the night before and got on the plane early the next morning, and we're flying back to Toronto. Now, at this point, I have to tell you that Air Canada.
You drove to Toronto and you're flying to Toronto.
Sorry, Toronto to Saskatoon.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, I have to tell you that the mask mandates have ended pretty much everywhere in Canada, except for airports and on airplanes.
Yeah.
And even that is so fucking stupid. If you are outside security at the Saskatoon airport, you do not need to wear a mask.
No problem.
Despite the fact that they have announcements regularly going over the announcement speaker saying you need to wear a mask at all times, but you don't. As soon as you pass security, that's federal territory.
Oh, yes.
Mask is mandatory.
Right.
As soon as you enter the security area. And then on your fucking plane, you need to wear a mask, except for the fact that they're not really enforcing it. So we ended up on the way there. We were on one flight to Saskatoon to Calgary, one flight Calgary to Ottawa, one flight to Toronto, and then one flight to Boston. And then we took a fifth flight, Toronto back to Saskatoon. So in 10 days, we were on 5 flights. And on 3 of those flights, they were actively not enforcing the mask policy. People had them down below their nose. People had them completely off. It was really not an issue. The other 2 flights, they were militantly enforcing the policy. So, like, how are you supposed to know who's going to be militantly enforcing it and who's not, unless your mask slips down below your face and they either yell at you or they don't say anything?
Risk getting punted off the fucking plane or what?
Well, and on the other side of things, like, you don't have to wear a mask anywhere else. Everyone knows that this is just a theater so that Justin Trudeau can maintain some semblance of control that he wouldn't have otherwise as a minority government.
Yeah, you see what they're doing now with fucking vaccines and shit.
Oh, fuck,
yeah. None of it makes any difference anymore. It's anything you got now is just it's void.
Well, now they're telling you, like they're determining whether it's every 6 months or every 3 months.
Right.
But anyway, so cocksuckers.
I had to fit one in there this episode.
Of course. So me. I'm bound and determined to find, like, if you're not even willing to enforce the policy, then clearly it's not a policy worth having anyways. Exactly. So in the airports, my mask is off. Somebody asks me to put it on, I'll put it on. Yep. But if you don't ask me to put it on, I'm not fucking putting it on.
Yep.
And I'm doing the same on the planes. And I went through 4 flights before my last flight home. And on 3 of those 4 flights, they didn't give a fuck. On one of those flights, I walk onto the plane with the mask around my neck.
Right.
And the flight attendant kind of leans over into my ear and she says, so the airport person behind you is kind of noticed that you're not wearing your mask. if you can put it up while you're getting to your seat, I promise you that you can take it off and I won't bother you the whole rest of the flight.
Makes a ton of sense.
She said that to me. And I'm like, okay, at least like, I appreciate that you're not going to like hassle me for the whole rest of the flight.
Right.
But like, this is the state of enforcement on these things.
Yeah.
So how the fuck are you supposed to know who's going to take it seriously and who's not?
Exactly.
So I'm on the way home to Toronto and like, basically like a flight's taking off and you're like doing like that all the time to pop your ears, right?
Right.
When you do that, your mask comes down off your nose. Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be rebreathing my own air like that anyway. So I just leave it there. And we're on the plane for over an hour.
And now
Nobody says anything.
Right.
Nobody. I walked onto that flight the same way as the other flight with my mask around my neck.
Right.
Flight attendant said, "Hi, welcome aboard,"
Sure.
and didn't say anything about my mask.
Right.
And then proceeded to not say anything about it for over an hour. And then all of a sudden it was over and he's like, "Put your mask up." And like, not nice either. It's "Put your mask up." And I was like,
No
what?
kidding.
And I look at her, I'm like, really? Like after all this time now, this
Yeah.
she goes, "You need to wear your mask." And then I saw her proceed to do that to like another dozen people on the plane.
She's obviously not on your Christmas card list anymore.
No. And this gets worse. You just wait till I get to the
Oh my
punchline.
God.
So a second time, my mouth comes down over my nose, and she comes and tells me to put it back up. And I did. Both times I complied. I put it back up. So then they do drink service. I've got a Diet Coke. I can't drink it through my fucking mask. So I'm watching a movie. I'm watching Dune. So I got my earbuds in. I take a big swig of Coke. So my mask is down. Okay.
Yeah.
I put the Coke down. And even if I wasn't going to put my mask back up, but even if I was going to, I didn't have time to.
Right.
Stewardess comes over, flight attendant comes over, kneels down in front of me and starts talking to me. I can't hear what she's saying. So I pull my earbud out and I go, "What?" And she starts talking to me about I couldn't really hear what she was saying, but it's something about violation compliance is all the only words I heard. And I look at her and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" And she hands me a slip of paper. And it's a formal written warning for non-compliance of the masking policy.
Where's your suggestion box, bitch?
No kidding, right? So I first of all, I put my mask up immediately and I lean over to her and I told her about I've been on 5 flights in 10 days and it was actively not enforced on 3 of them. And I said, it's a little bit confusing when you guys are deciding what to make into molehills and what to make into mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I said to her. And then she started saying something back to me. I couldn't really hear what she was saying again.
Anyway.
That's exactly what I did.
Yep.
I couldn't hear what she was saying anyways. It didn't really matter. I didn't care. My mask was up and I wasn't about to get into an argument with her. Like I explained to her why I was giving her like an irritated look to her. That's all I really needed to do. I don't need to argue with her about it. So I put my mask was up. I just put the last thing I ever said to that flight attendant was, "I understand. Thank you." Direct quote. Put my earbuds in, started watching my movie.
Right.
Over an hour and a half left on this flight when this happens.
Right.
For the last hour and a half, I made sure my mask stayed up the whole time. I even got up, went to the washroom. There was no issues. Nobody talked to me. Nobody said anything. Nothing. We taxi in at Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Everybody's about to get up. Captain comes over the speaker. "Everybody, we're asking you to remain in your seats. We're just waiting for the authorities to arrive."
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
And I thought I misheard them because pretty much every one of our flights has been delayed getting on and getting off because they're waiting for ground crew to open the doors or waiting for baggage crew or waiting for something.
Right.
So I was like, thought it sounded like he said authorities, but like he must have meant like ground crew or something.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, 3 fucking police officers walk onto the plane. And I look at my wife.
And you got yourself a citation, mister.
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
No, but what do you, okay, sorry, I'm going to interrupt this story, but
okay.
What do you do with this fucking notice of non-compliance or whatever the hell she handed you?
Apparently it's supposed to be the final straw. It's supposed to be the final warning.
Are you going to kick you off the fucking airplane over Winnipeg or what?
Well, no, what they'll do is after that, they're supposed to fine you. right? So
Oh,
what she did is she handed me the warning and then went and told the captain to call the police anyway,
are you
despite the
fucking
fact
serious?
that I was fully compliant after she gave me that formal warning. And by the way, like, called the police
I
because
think
I
we
was going to
need to
get
find out
aggressive with her.
who she is and where she lives.
That would be bad. But anyway, so I look at my wife and I'm kind of like suspicious that, like, are they here for, like, seriously? Like, I'm like,
Right.
no, there's no way.
Right.
And I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, what the hell are they here for? And then, like, quarter of the way down the plane, they lock eyes with me. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They walk right up to me, Mr. Kemble. And I'm like, yeah. And they go, you've been asked to deplane first, and we've been asked to escort you off the plane.
That sounds fucking great. I'd love to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I go, well, am I allowed to grab my luggage, my carry-on? And they go, no. Are you traveling with someone? And I said, well, my wife's right here. And he goes, well, your wife's going to have to get it for you. And I was like, okay. So I stand up halfway out of the plane. I'm like, guys, what's this about? And they're like, we'll talk to you when you're off the plane. And we get off the plane and they start talking to me. They're walking me out of the airport. But as we're walking, they start talking to me about, like, telling me, like, the flight attendant talked to the captain. They made a decision to have me escorted off the plane and all this sort of stuff. And I'm telling them, like, guys, like, I don't even know what to say right now. Like, I'm shocked. And they're kind of looking at me, and I'm like, this is surreal for me.
Right.
And I explained what happened. I explained what was going on. And they're like, at first they're very weary, and they're telling me things like, we just want to make sure
Right.
everything goes smooth. And so I told them flat out, I said, guys, like, you have nothing to worry from me. Like, I'm not going to get combative with you. I'm not going to disobey any orders that you're giving me. I'm going to walk with you peacefully where you tell me to walk. And I'm going to do what you tell me to do. Like, you guys don't have anything to worry about. And then they start relaxing and
Yeah.
because they, like, of
Become
course I'm wearing
regular human beings again.
yeah. Well, and of course I'm wearing a fucking jujitsu shirt, while this is all happening. Right. So, so they walk me, like, right out the front door, and we're standing there like 2 feet away from the front door. And they start telling me, like, yeah, you go, first of all, we're not charging you with anything. Second of all, we have to write a report for this, but our report is going to say specifically that you were calm and compliant and articulate the entire time. I'm like, well, I appreciate that, guys. And they said, and he goes, and it does kind of seem as though this was an overreaction. And I was like, guys, like, I thank you for saying that. Like, I thought I stepped into an alternate reality for a minute. Like, it was
To go to camp.
so exactly, like, it was just so surreal. So at the end of it, they're like, so we are going to ask you not to go back into the airport. They've asked you to be escorted off, but we're not going to escort you off the property. We think that you're going to be compliant and
You
not go back to the
dangerous
airport.
son of a bitch.
I know, right? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, guys. I'm not going to go back into the airport. I'll wait for my wife and then we'll leave.
Can you believe you wasted your time on this, sir?
Exactly. And they literally left me standing 3 feet from the door. They weren't, they were so little concerned that they just left me standing 3 feet from the door that I could have walked back in. But they were so unconcerned with it that they just left.
What the fuck is this country turned into?
I couldn't fucking believe it. I could not believe it. So we go home and I'm talking to my wife and I'm like, this is fucked. And then I realize, I need to fly Air Canada to Orlando at the end of July. And then I'm flying Air Canada to Dubai right after that.
Right.
And then I'm not Air Canada to Dubai to Pakistan, but like, I need to be able to fly Air Canada to be able to get there. So I'm like, this could be a big fucking deal.
Yeah, it could.
So I go back to the airport. It's almost 2 hours later at this point. I go back to the airport and I talk to the Air Canada manager for the Saskatoon airport. She basically runs Air Canada at that airport.
Right.
And I sit down with her. I explain the whole thing, and I'm talking to her, and she, at the end of it, she's doing everything but apologize. She's telling me, she's like, I know that we're having it, that it is an issue with inconsistent enforcement of the policy. It is something that we are aware of.
Fucking start there.
Well,
Fix
exactly.
that goddamn problem
Well, and
first.
she's telling me like I completely understand how the inconsistency in enforcement is leading to this type of confusion and these types of problems. And I'm
Oh,
like, cool.
Jesus.
And I'm telling her like at no like she did have to tell me multiple times. And yeah,
Yeah.
like like I'm getting a little irritated with the whole thing because the whole thing is like everybody knows it's political at this point.
Yep. Yep.
Because if it wasn't political, how come I can take my mask off in half of
Sure.
the airport, but I
Sure.
can't in the other half of the
Right.
airport? How come I
Besides,
can have my mask off on a plane for over an hour and then for the next 3 hours I'm going to be killing someone if I take it off? You know,
because Justin Trudeau said,
that's right. And that's all it is. And she flat out said to me, she says, if it were up to me, nobody would be wearing any masks. She says, like, I completely understand your situation.
well, that's the thing. You know what? Stuff like this has given fucking nobodies some
Yes.
sense of authority.
Yes.
And you know what happens when that condition exists?
And you know what? If the person doesn't have a Napoleon syndrome, it's
Yeah.
not an issue.
Yeah.
It becomes the flight attendant who told me,
You're
you know
fucking
what?
right.
If you can do this for me while you get into your seat, I won't hassle you the whole rest of the
Right.
flight.
And now,
And then you get Napoleon syndrome.
yeah.
Or maybe she didn't like the cut of my jib. Maybe she doesn't like bald guys. Maybe she doesn't like beards. I don't know. But whatever the fuck it was, she just decided that today's the day.
Yep.
And the manager told me, she says, just so you know, like this is the first time this has happened in the entirety of COVID. She said, we have police here in the airport almost every day, but this
Right.
is the first time at this airport the police have escorted somebody off for non-compliance of a mask.
Well, ma'am, I'm honored.
Yeah, not so much though. But so
Unbelievable.
at the end of it, she tells me like, I don't have anything to worry about. The only time that they even consider a flight ban is if the police lay charges.
Sure.
And not only are the police not laying charges, but they're writing the report as though like I'm not a fucking dangerous person.
Right.
And she told me, she said, I have to write a report. Well, first of all, she says, neither the pilot nor the flight attendant have filed a report yet.
Of course.
And she says, and there's no guarantee that they even will. And I was like,
well, because that's work.
yeah, well, it's so bad that you need to call the police on me, but you're
Yes.
not even going to file a report, or it's not even a
That's-
guarantee that you're going to file a report.
That's that momentary, selective Napoleon syndrome.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if she doesn't file a report, then there's absolutely nothing to worry about. If she does file a report, and no matter what, she says, I have to file a report, because what they do is they call her, because that's the
Sure,
destination
it's
airport.
an incident.
Yeah, and she is the one who calls the police. She said, my report would have been just what happened. I received a call. This is what they said the call was about. I called
Right.
the police. Done.
Right.
That would be my report.
Right.
She says, now my report is going to say that you came back and that you spoke with me and that you were calm and you were I apologize multiple times for the frustration that it caused the airport and the other passengers and the embarrassment that it would have caused. And I said, I'm embarrassed myself.
Well,
I said,
you're a bigger man than I am for apologizing for that.
well, I whatever, right?
Great.
But she said like she's gonna put all that in the report. She's going to put into the report that like I was calm and rational and not at all acting like any sort of danger or security risk at any point.
Well, you know what? If you ended up being a freaking lunatic, it would have validated what they did anyway.
Well,
So
exactly.
There's no point in doing that. You're the better person
Exactly.
here.
And that's what I'm trying to be anyway. But
yeah.
So long story short, I'm no longer flying to Orlando at the end of July.
Oh, you're not.
No, we're going to cancel the flights and I'm going to drive.
Oh, wow. That's a hell of a drive.
I'd rather drive 2 days than go through that shit again.
I don't blame you.
And you know what? It'll be cheaper.
Horse shit. Yeah.
It'll be cheaper because like I'll take my Jetta, which it gets good fuel mileage.
Right.
2 nights hotel is only about $200. Let's say I spend round trip, I spend $450 in fuel, which is probably going to be closer to like 250 in fuel. So let's use that
Was that
number.
it?
Well, it's quite a fuel efficient vehicle.
I think I spent that going to Sapril.
You probably did. Well, okay, maybe let's say 300.
Okay.
Let's say 400 just to be pessimistic.
Right.
$200 hotel for 2 nights hotel.
Yeah.
And there's no saying I'll do it in 2 nights. I might power drive it and only stay 1 night in hotel.
Right.
But let's say $200 for hotel,
Sure.
$400 for fuel. I'm $650 in.
Hmm.
The flight is over $1,000
No kidding.
plus all of that hassle.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have
exactly.
to wear a fucking mask at any point in the entire trip.
And you can happily talk to yourself the entire trip. You don't have to entertain somebody else's bullshit.
I'll listen to Jocko's podcast,
Exactly.
followed by episodes of Ballistically Speaking,
That's right.
followed by episodes of Slamfire Radio. I got more than enough entertainment to keep me going. And so
Don't forget Silvercore in there.
and Silvercore, absolutely, yeah, and Canadian Patriot, yeah,
That's it.
all the guys, you
All
know,
the guys.
yeah,
Guys and gals.
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna drive, yeah, and that's my. I've never been escorted off of a fucking airplane by the police in my life.
That's amazing.
I've never even been on a flight where it was done.
I've been escorted out of some places, but never an airplane.
I've only ever been escorted out of one bar, one place, and it was a bar, and I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And even that one, you know, like the police were just like, okay, so we're just going to let you go as long as you promise not to go back to that bar tonight. And I was like, okay.
Are
That
those other
wasn't-
guys coming out though? Because I'd really like to see them.
Yeah. Can I go to the parking lot?
Right.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely surreal. And I'm going to wrap it up with this.
Okay.
I'm in Toronto Airport when we would drive from Washington to Toronto. We get there the night before. So I go to Toronto Airport because I know that my luggage is still in Toronto Pearson. I wait over 40 minutes to talk to someone at the counter because the lineup is so long.
Oh.
Do you know what? Are you visualizing what Toronto Pearson baggage claim looks like right now?
I'm trying. It's been a lot of years since
It's just a gigantic room,
Right.
like basically a square room, slightly rectangle, with I think it's like 8 or 9.
It's like a flea market.
Yeah, exactly. With like 7, 8, or 9 what are they, not turntables, carousels.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's this huge area, like several thousand square feet.
Sure.
Both sides, the walls are lined with luggage about 10 feet deep.
Oh.
And they've run out of room along the sides. So they just started packing luggage in the middle on the floor in between the carousels.
Are you fucking kidding? Because there's nobody
Thousands.
there to sort or what?
I guess thousands of lost bags, just sitting in
my
the baggage claim.
Just start
So-
rummaging through stuff to see what kind of
That's what I did.
cool shit you.
Well, no, I went looking for my bags, but I was
Right.
rummaging through stuff looking for my bags. And of course, they weren't there. Over 40 minutes waiting in line, finally get to talk to someone. They confirm that, yeah, it's here at Toronto Pearson. My bags are at Pearson. I'm like,
Right.
cool. I'm here now. Let's settle.
Sure.
Let's take these 2 off your list.
Right.
Well, they're listed as in the back, like in the back area.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, so? Well, I have no idea where they are back there. We don't deal with back there. That's all Toronto Pearson.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm like, so then call Toronto Pearson. They're pretty recognizable bags. Even better, call Toronto Pearson, have them escort me back there. I'll fucking spot them like this. I'll pick them up, get them out of your hair.
Right.
And save you the fucking cost to ship them. No,
Yeah.
they wouldn't do it.
Nope. Of course
So
not.
they're still at Toronto Pearson 14
No
days later,
shit. No,
but
shit.
they're lost when I look up the status on them.
Let's put some money on this. How long do you think it'll take?
I think it's going to be months.
I was gonna say probably 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah. The way things are right now, it's going to be months.
No
So
kidding.
when I'm walking around there looking for bags,
Yeah.
you will not. I want you to try and guess what I came across.
I don't know, somebody else's luggage that you
What
know.
is the most illegal thing that you can think of other than drugs that I found just sitting on the floor amongst a whole bunch of other bags?
I don't know. A bomb.
An unsecured rifle. I'm not lying. No word of a lie. I have the photo. I'm going to show it to people just in case someone thinks I'm lying. Oh, first of all, by the way, check this out. Like, this is just one. Oh, can you see that? This is just one section of the
Holy
luggage.
Lord Jesus. Wow.
Can you believe that?
I can now.
So, okay, here it is. Oh, I got to do it this way. You see that there? Here, I'm going to maximize my screen so people can see it. Oh, why is it not? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong fucking button. Durr. There. Okay. That right there is a Pelican case.
It sure is.
Now, what do you think the odds there's not a rifle in that Pelican case?
No kidding. I'm sure it's just cameras and camera gear.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, absolutely. It will be. So, and here's the thing. There's no security there.
So anybody could walk out with whatever the fuck.
It's past security. It's on the other side of security.
It's a flea market.
Yeah. I quite literally and easily could have just quietly picked that up and walked out the front door.
Sure.
Instead, I chose to walk over to a cluster of 3 guys that were sitting there having an unemployment meeting. Because, you know, this is how busy Pearson is, that they can just stand around and talk to each other.
Right.
I walk up to them. One of them is the baggage manager.
No kidding. So what do you do?
They're just sitting there talking to each other.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I go up and I go, guys, do you realize that there is an unsecured rifle over in your oversized baggage area? And they look at me and they go, what? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh
and he looks at me and goes, is it yours? And I'm like, no, it's not mine. If it was mine, I would have just picked it up and I wouldn't have said anything. And I would have like plastered it all over social media. I'm like, no, it's not mine. Do you want me to show you where it is? Or do you want to just stand there with your jaw on the ground? And he goes, no, show me where it is. So I take him over to it and he pulls it out from, you can see it was in amongst a bunch of other bags. He pulls it out. The guy's address, his name and address is written on the fucking box on the case.
Right.
And he goes, well, I'm going to ship this out right now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Bravo. How about looking for a couple of other pieces?
Exactly. When you're done with that one, why don't you come back and grab another bag at random and ship that one out to its proper owner too?
Yeah.
And here's a
jaw jacking about fucking bullshit.
And just call me crazy. Maybe this is a nutty idea. Maybe take those other 2 chuckleheads and say, hey, for the next 60 minutes, just randomly grab bags and ship them out.
Yeah. You know, this is, I think I'm starting to see it. Years ago, I started my grumpy old man phase quite early.
Yeah.
Years ago, I used to say all the time, man, in a sick sort of way, I cannot wait to see what this fucking planet looks like in 20 or 30 years. And I'll bet you that
careful what you wish for.
Well, no shit. I think we're seeing it.
We are.
I think we're fucking seeing
100% it. We are. Yeah. This is what it is. This is how it goes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Where's my bunker?
Where's your bunker? I didn't say that about the Origin Factory. Their downstairs is the World War II nuclear fallout shelter for Farmington, the town of Farmington. Still has like the original fallout shelter, like a metal sign screwed into the wall. Yeah. And you take this tight little spiral staircase to get down into the base. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And then they even put a sign over the staircase that says the bunker.
No shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So we were going to do like a 30-minute show. It's been an hour and a half.
It was an hour ago.
We've done a full-length show. So maybe we should wrap this shit up. I got pizza to eat.
All right.
What a couple of weeks though. Hey, like interesting.
No kidding.
Like, you get to go shoot a bunch of shit.
Oh.
I experienced life, if nothing
The
else.
stupidity of life. My God.
But you know what? The trip itself was so great.
Oh,
You know,
that's good.
I don't normally say his name on air, but like my business coach and my jiu-jitsu coach and my mentor, his name is Pat Cooligan, and he's the one who organized this trip. And he's number one, he's a fucking genius, and number two, he's just a really smart guy, really good guy, and so I guess I'll publicly give him a thanks for doing this sort of stuff. So, also, I'm going with him to Texas next year.
Oh, no kidding.
Guess what we're doing while we're there?
You are going heli hog hunting, you son of a bitch.
You're fucking right, we are.
Oh.
Also, I'm supposed to be going to Orlando in January, and he wants to go python hunting with me. It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna have dreams tonight.
Well, me too. It's not till next July. It's 12 months from now that we're going hog hunting.
Oh, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Get an AR-10 hanging out the window of a helicopter.
Oh, I would love to use a 10. That would be awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah. Some of those companies are using automatic AR-15s. I don't know if they are with civilians or not, but I saw a Grand Thumb video where he went to Texas and did it with, I think it was the guy from T-Rex.
Is that right?
And they were using automatic rifles. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be okay too.
I would not mind at all.
It would be okay. Just okay.
I need a minigun, but yeah, exactly. 3-second burst mowed down like 3 generations of wild boar,
Exactly.
and still not even make a dent in the population.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. All right, you want to kick this thing into final drive here?
Oh, do I have to say something?
You do the social plug thingy.
Oh yeah,
Whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, hey, thanks for joining us on this show. Obviously, this was pre-recorded. If you guys have been typing into the show for the last hour and a half, wondering why we're not saying anything, oh, God bless you.
Selfish bastards we are.
Yeah, exactly. So we may not be going live next week, or no, next week we should be.
Are you around?
I believe I am.
Okay. I'll be up in camp, but
Okay.
not COVID camp, at least not yet.
It should be regular camp. So we
Regular
should be doing a back to regular for
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
So
Okay,
that's
great.
awesome. And guys, for we know 2 weeks is a long time. We're going to do our best to pre-record episodes when we can't be live,
Yeah.
so that we can still bring you guys the content, because we know that you need your weekly dose of BS. We respect that, and yeah. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you put a thumbs up, give a like, give a smiley face. If you're watching this, I know you're going to do an angry face anyway, so go ahead. That's cool.
That's our Yanzi.
That's our Yenzi. And please check out the show at facebook.com/BS podcast. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Only good reviews, please. Also, if you like the content,
Hey, you got to take the bad with the good too.
yeah,
pal.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you like the content, leave a like on our Facebook page and visit us on our YouTube page. And please subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't already. Even if you normally watch us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're doing reviews. We're doing all kinds of different stuff. And we need to hit 1,000 subscriber milestones. So we're getting very close to that.
Excellent.
So
You know
if
what,
you could help us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Mhm.
We've got some field stuff to do, some more field stuff. There's this Bergera B14
Yeah.
6.5 Creedmoor that I've got to do load workup for and some testing. We have your 6.5 Creedmoor, the EM precision built rifle.
Yep.
We did a rough load workup for it. I think we need to go through the whole all the paces to get to where you are now, and
Yep.
then maybe refinement. I'm hoping August looks a little less busy for us both, so we can get some of that.
Well, and I'm
content
hoping maybe
that's,
even a little bit in the next 2 weeks because,
okay.
you know, I've got to get that video out of Origin. Like, it's
Right.
super cool factory tour.
Yeah.
I think you guys will really like that. And they're coming out with a hunting line in September.
Yeah, that
And it's like
sounds
that's
awesome.
phew, yeah. I got to take a look at the footage you got from Saprel, see if we can come
Right.
up with a video for that for everybody. I've got more content coming out for the Sterling R18 rifle. I've got more content coming out and including a full comprehensive review for the Gen 2 180C.
Mhm. Yeah.
I've got a Brigera BMR I'm working on. We've
Yes,
got
sir.
the Canuck Operator Elite that I'm working on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming out, and
There
it's going
is.
to be over the next couple of months. So
Just got to
yeah.
find some time to do it. Get it
Exactly.
done.
You can also email us questions, whether you whether you're into long range shooting, whether you're into martial arts or anything. I'm just winging this because we got to rewrite this because it's dumb. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'd
it
love
gets
to hear from you. Just email us at info@bspodcast.ca. And as usual, a massive thank you to all of our sponsors and our listeners. We'd just be two idiots talking to each other on the internet if not for you guys. So very quickly, Shane and Steve, Miles, Carey, Cappy, Duncan and Rob, Phil, Odell, Doug and Nisa, Vanya and Carly and Oscar. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And to all of our listeners, you guys are also awesome. And I think that's it. Hey,
You betcha.
should
You
I
got
click
her,
the
buddy.
button?
I think you should click the button.
Okay, I'll click the button.
Get at her. Thanks, folks.
See ya.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS. Ballistically speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.